Hello everyone, in this video we're going to learn how to crack these unit circles. So before we're going to learn how to crack this unit circle, we need to understand some concept that we learned before. Alright, the first one, if the function is even, and then f of negative s equals f of s, the function is symmetric about the y-axis. If the function is odd, f of negative s equals negative f of s, the function is symmetric about the origin. Alright. Now the function sine theta is odd because it's symmetric about the origin. So sine of negative theta equals negative sine of theta. Remember that the sine function looks like this. So the sine function starts from the origin, go up to maximum, go back to the midline, go down to the minimum, go back to the midline. Alright? So this is the sine function. Now the sine function reflects over the origin. So it's going to be like this. Alright. So this is the sine function. So sine theta. Alright, so sine of negative theta equals negative sine theta. Keep this information in mind because it's really helpful for you to calculate the bigger angles. Alright, now the function cosine theta is even because it's symmetric about the y-axis. So the cosine of negative theta equals cosine theta. Right? So the cosine function looks like this. Cosine function always start from the maximum, right? Go down to the midline, and then go down to the minimum, go back to the midline, and go up to the maximum. Alright, so this is the cosine theta. Now you reflect this one over the y-axis, so it looks like this. Alright. Now, the period of the sine and cosine theta is always 2 pi, meaning the values of the sine and cosine function repeat themselves after the length of 2 pi. Alright, so we're gonna go to the unit circle right here. Alright, the first point is gonna be right here, which means 0 degree, where the terminal rays and initial rays overlapping, right? So the x-axis represents the cosine function. So I put cosine theta right here. The y-axis represents the sine function. Keep that in mind. So this is sine theta. Alright, so when we calculate cosine 0, right, we look at the x value right here. It's to be 1, right? So 1. Now sine 0, we look at the y value right here. It's going to be 0, right? So tangent 0 equals sine 0 divided by cosine 0, which is 0 divided by 1. It's going to be 0, right? Now, next one, we talk about this point right here. It's going to be 30 degrees. 30 degrees is the same thing as pi over 6, right? So keep that in mind. Pi equivalent to 180 degrees, right? So pi over 6, we have this point right here. Now we learned before we can make an equilateral triangle right here, right? So you see that this guy right here equals 1. This guy right here equals 1. Alright, so this guy must be equals 1. So then the x-axis becomes perpendicular bisector of this guy. So the distance from here to here is going to be 1/2, which is the y value of sine pi over 6, right? So y value I put 1/2 right here. Now the x value, I just use the Pythagorean theorem in this triangle right here, right? So this side square plus this side square equals 1 square, right? So this guy actually √3/2, right? Alright, if you want to know how to do that, please check out the videos below in the description. Tangent of 30 degrees, which means tangent of pi over 6, we have 1/2 divided by root 3 over 2, right? Sine divided by cosine. Now you just multiply the top and bottom by 2, right? And then you just simplify, right? So this guy cancel out, this guy cancel out. You have 1 over root 3, right? 1 over root 3, you can radicalize this one. It turns out to be root 3 over 3, right? So this is tangent of pi over 6. Now, when it comes to 45 degrees, it's the same thing as pi over 4, right? Sine of pi over 4 is going to be root 2 over 2. We can use Pythagorean theorem in the right triangle, right? You just draw the right triangle right here. Alright, so this is, you just put this is x value, this is y value, right? X and y value should be the same because this is an isosceles right triangle, right? And this is 1, and then you can calculate x and y, they both root 2 over 2, right? So I have root 2 over 2. Now tangent of pi over 4, which is root 2 over 2 divided by root 2 over 2 is going to be 1, right? Now 60 degrees, which is pi over 3, right? Pi over 3 right here is going to be opposite to pi over 6 right here. So this is root 3 over 2, 1/2. You just swap this one. It's going to be 1/2 here and root 3 over 2 right here. Alright, now you take sine divided by cosine, which is root 3 over 2 divided by 1/2. We get tangent of pi over 3, right? So I have root 3 over 2 divided by 1/2, right? Multiply the top and bottom by 2. So the answer should be root 3, right? Now we're going to talk about the pi over 2 right here, right? Pi over 2, the point right here, it's going to be 0, 1, right? So sine of pi over 2 equals 1. Cosine of pi over 2 equals 0. So tangent of pi over 2 equals 1 divided by 0. It's going to be undefined, right? Now, if you want to know a trick how to find the exact value of each trigonometric functions in the first quadrant, please check out the videos in the description below. Alright, so if you know the exact value of each trigonometric function in the first quadrant, you know the whole circle. Alright, this one right here, 120 degrees, is the same thing as 2 pi over 3. Now, this guy and this guy right here is symmetric about the y-axis, so they have the same y value, opposite x value, right? So it should be negative 1/2 root 3 over 2, right? And tangent of 120 degrees, which means tangent of 2 pi over 3, right? Y over x, right? So it's going to be root 3 over 2 divided by negative 1/2 is going to be negative root 3. Now, 135 degrees is the same thing as 45 degrees right here, right? So it's going to be pi over 4, right? So this guy and this guy symmetric about the y-axis, right? So it should be negative root 2 over 2 and root 2 over 2, right? X opposite, y side, right? Now, tangent of 135 is going to be negative 1, right? This guy divided by this guy equals negative 1. Now, tangent of 150 degrees, we need to find this point right here. 150 degrees is the same thing as 5 pi over 6, right? Because you can receive 1 pi over 6, 2 pi over 6, 3 pi over 6, 4 pi over 6, and this is 5 pi over 6. So, sine cosine of pi over 6 is going to be opposite to this one right here, right? Symmetric about the y-axis, so x opposite, so it could be negative root 3 over 2 and y side, so 1/2 right here, okay? So tangent of 150 degrees is the same thing as tangent of 5 pi over 6. Alright, so it should be negative root 3 over 3, right? Now tangent of 180 degrees, we have sine and cosine is going to be right here. Sine, which means the y value, so sine of pi equals, this one equals pi, right? So sine of pi equals 0, cosine of pi equals negative 1, right? So tangent of pi equals sine divided by cosine. So which means 0 divided by negative 1, right? So it could be 0, right? Now tangent of 210 degrees. So this guy actually 7 pi over 6, right? So I have 7 pi over 6 right here. Now this point right here is a reflection of these points over the x-axis, so they have the same x value, opposite y value, right? So x value right here is going to be negative root 3 over 2. Now y value opposite, so it should be negative 1/2, right? Now you need to find tangent of 7 pi over 6, which is you're gonna take y divided by x, right? So negative 1/2 divided by negative root 3 over 2, right? It's gonna be root 3 over 3, right? Now, this angle right here is actually reflection of this one right here over the origin, right? So this is pi over 4, this is 2 pi over 4, this is 3 pi over 4, this is 4 pi over 4, and this is 5 pi over 4, right? So 225 is the same thing as 5 pi over 4, right? Now we need to find the coordinate of this point right here, right? This guy and this guy reflect over the origin, right? So x and y should be opposites, right? So right here, 5 pi over 4, we have root 2 over 2 and root 2 over 2, right? So this guy should be negative root 2 over 2. Negative root 2 over 2, right? So when you find tangent of 225, we just take this one divided by this one, it's going to be 1, right? Now, we're going to talk about this guy right here. This guy right here is actually the reflection of pi over 3 over the origin, right? Now you just count pi over 3, 2 pi over 3, 3 pi over 3, 4 pi over 3. Alright, so this is 4 pi over 3. Alright, now 4 pi over 3 is reflection of pi over 3 over the origin. So x and y should be opposites. So this one should be negative 1/2 and negative root 3 over 2. In order to find the tangent of 4 pi over 3, we take sine divided by cosine, right? So sine should be negative root 3 over 2 divided by negative 1/2, right? It should be root 3. Alright, tangent of 270 degrees is the same thing as 3 pi over 2, right? So this is 3 pi over 2. Alright, so it's going to be y divided by s right here, right? So you have negative 1 divided by 0, this is undefined. Now, we're gonna talk about is 300 degrees right here. Alright, so we just count. This guy is 4 pi over 3, right? This guy must be 5 pi over 3, right? Now, this guy right here is a reflection point of this guy. X and y should be opposites, right? So this guy is negative 1/2 root 3 over 2. It turns out to be 1/2 and negative root 3 over 2, right? Now tangent of 5 pi over 6, right? This is 5 pi over 6. It's gonna be negative root 3 over 2 divided by 1/2, right? So it should be negative root 3, right? Now, this guy right here, we have 5 pi over 4 right here, alright? This is 6 pi over 4. This guy is 7 pi over 4, right? So this is 7 pi over 4. Now we need to find the coordinate points of this guy, right? So this guy, actually the reflection points are this guy right here over the origin. Oh, you can use this guy as the reflection point of this guy right here over the x-axis, right? So x should be the same, y should be opposite, right? So x should be root 2 over 2, y should be negative root 2 over 2, right? So this guy for 7 pi over 4, right? Now we need to find tangent of 7 pi over 4. It's going to be negative root 2 over 2 divided by root 2 over 2 is going to be negative 1, right? Now, tangent of 330 degrees. Oh, I make a mistake right here. This is 5 pi over 6. This is 6 pi over 6. This is 7 pi over 6. This is 8 pi over 6. This is 9 pi over 6. And this is 10 pi over 6, right? 10 pi over 6 is the same thing as 5 pi over 3, right? So this guy should be 5 pi over 3. Alright, now this is 10 pi over 6, right? This one is 11 pi over 6, right? So this is 11 pi over 6, right? And then this guy right here and this guy right here reflect over the x-axis. So x stay y opposites, right? So we have the coordinate point. It should be root 3 over 2 negative 1/2, right? Now we need to find tangent of 11 pi over 6. It's going to be negative 1/2 divided by root 3 over 2. Right, so it should be negative root 3 over 3, right? Alright, so go back over here, it should be 2 pi, right? Sine of 2 pi divided by cosine of 2 pi is still 0, right? Alright, so now we're going to use the unit circle to calculate the bigger angles. So for example, we need to calculate cosine of 9 pi over 4, right? So we just rewrite 9 over 4 in terms of the period, right? The period of sine and cosine 2 pi, right? Now we need to rewrite cosine of 9 pi over 4 in terms of 2 pi, right? So basically this one is the same thing as cosine of 9 pi. I just split this guy into pi and 8 pi, right? Divided by 4. Alright, so I split this guy. It turns out to be cosine of pi over 4 plus 8 pi divided by 4 is going to be 2 pi, right? Now, this guy actually the period, so I don't need to worry about this guy anymore. So this guy is the same thing as cosine of pi over 4, right? But cosine of pi over 4 equals root 2 over 2. So cosine of 9 pi over 4 is the same thing as cosine of pi over 4. And it's going to be root 2 over 2, right? So it's going to be right here. Now keep in mind, every single thing right here depends on the first quadrant, right? So if you master how to find the value of the trigonometric function in the first quadrant right here, you're going to master every single thing, right? Now let's move on to the next one. Suppose we need to calculate cosine of negative 21 pi over 4, right? Now again, we need to write this one in terms of 2 pi, right? So I just write this one as negative 5 pi minus 16 pi over 4, right? And then this guy is the same thing as cosine of negative 5 pi over 4 minus negative 16 pi over 4 is going to be negative 4 pi, right? Now negative 4 pi is the multiple of 2 pi, right? So we just ignore this one, right? So cosine of negative 21 pi over 4 is the same thing as cosine of negative 5 pi over 4, right? Now, because the cosine function is even, so we use the formula right here. Cosine of negative theta equals cosine of theta. So this guy is the same thing as cosine of phi pi over 4, right? So cosine of phi pi over 4 is going to be negative root 2 over 2, right? Now let's take a look at the next example. We need to find sine of negative 29 pi over 6. Alright, so we need to split negative 29 pi so that we can rewrite negative 29 pi over 6 in terms of 2 pi, right? So this guy is the same thing as sine of negative 5 pi minus 24 pi over 6, right? So this guy is the same thing as sine of negative 5 pi divided by 6 minus negative 24 pi divided by 6 is going to be negative 4 pi, right? Make sure this guy right here should be even, right? So that is going to be the multiple of 2 pi. So then you can ignore this one, right? So you just take a look at this one only, right? So it's going to be sine of negative 5 pi over 6. Alright, because the sine function is odd, right? So then we're going to apply the formula right here. So this turns out to be negative sine of 5 pi over 6, right? Now sine 5 pi over 6 is going to be right here, right? So sine should be 1/2, right? So you have negative sine right here. Now sine 5 pi over 6 equals 1/2, so it should be negative 1/2. Let's move on to the last example. We need to calculate sine of 9 pi over 4. Alright, so this one is the same thing as sine of pi plus 8 pi over 4, right? So we just split this one. It's going to be sine of pi over 4 plus 8 pi divided by 4 is going to be 2 pi, right? So this is the period of the sine function. We ignore this one. So this guy is the same thing as sine of pi over 4, right? Sine pi over 4 equals root 2 over 2. Now, to help you quiz yourself to see if how much you understand about the unit circle, right, I have the link to this activity. So check out the link in the description below to play around with this one to see if you understand. Alright, now on the left hand side right here, we have the level 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So you can start from level 1, right, up to level 4. Now, you can pick sine, cosine, tangent, etc. right here, right? So we learn about sine, cosine. So you pick sine, cosine. Now, right here, right, you have radian, degree, above, right? You can pick degree, so you have degree right here, right? You have radian, it's going to be radian right here. Alright, so you're supposed to know how to convert from radian to degree. Alright, so on the right hand side, they're going to give you how many right or wrong answer you make, right? So for example, I need to deal with this one, cosine of negative 2 pi over 3, right? So cosine of negative 2 pi over 3 because cosine is the even function. So cosine of negative 2 pi over 3 is the same thing as cosine of 2 pi over 3, right? Cosine of 2 pi over 3 is going to be negative 1/2. So the answer is negative 1/2. Hit OK. Yeah, that's right. Right. Now sine 4 pi over 3 is going to be negative root 3 over 2, right? Alright, now the last one. Sine of negative 23 pi over 6. Now 23, I can split this guy into negative 11 pi and negative 12 pi, right? So negative 12 pi divided by 6, it could be negative 2 pi. This is the period of the sine function, right? So I only worry about the sine of negative 11 pi over 6, right? Now sine of negative 11 pi over 6 is the same thing as negative sine of 11 pi over 6, right? Now sine of 11 pi over 6 equals 1 half. Then sine 11 pi over 6 equals negative 1 half. Now you have negative of negative. It should be positive. So the answer should be 1 half, right? And it's good time to stop. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Remember that if you failing to prepare, you're preparing to fail.
We rise like tall buildings as the chemicals they take us higher. The night's young, it has just begun as she puts her hand in mine.